Hello dear students, today we will have a discussion about the art of warfare. Now as we all know, tensions are rising between India and Pakistan. The situation is escalating quickly. Therefore, let us study about warfare. See, warfare is an integral part of, is a common occurrence in human history. Ever since we evolved from apes, the Homo sapien race species has indulged in warfare. Warfare or wars as such have led to the establishment of great empires and also have caused the downfall of various empires. So, the art of warfare or wars in itself are intermingled with human existence. See, our great ancestors, they fought with sticks and stones. That was the technological advancement of that time. They carved out sharp stones and they fashioned it to a stick, using it as an axe. Or you might have seen javelin throws. In the past, we used javelins as a method of warfare. But since time evolved, since technology evolved, that those sticks and stones got converted into missiles. And recently, the DRDO, the Defense Research of India, they came up with a mechanism that can obliterate flying projectiles in the air via lasers. In simple sense, you have a missile coming over your airspace, this mechanism will target it via laser and it will melt the incoming projectile. So, from sticks and stones to modern warfare, the evolution of warfare has occurred. Now, most of us, it is a common belief among people that it is the wars and battles that we have fought since our inception as a species that has led to technological advancement in our society. To an extent, it is true, because look at your Google Maps, your telephones, your computers, your mobiles. All these inventions are a result of war. They say necessity is the mother of invention. When fighting wars, there is always a necessity for technological advancement. So therefore, the militaries, they came up with these gadgets that have made the civilian lives easier. We have also have examples in instances such as when technology was incorporated by warfare. For example, drones were essentially made for surveillance and research. Like you had inaccessible areas such as the volcanic hilltops where humans couldn't go. There we used to send drones for collecting information. Now, warfare has indoctrinated these technologies in itself. See, during Operation Sindoor, India used such suicidal drones that carried the payload all to its designated target and dropped it. So, therefore, it is a through and fro exchange. In a sense, war does lead to technological advancement. Now, let us discuss about the types of warfare. There are various types of warfare. First is your conventional warfare. Then next you have the biological warfare. Then next we have chemical warfare. Then we have psychological warfare. And last but not the least, we have cultural warfare. These are the ways and types through which warfare occurs, how one country fights the other country using various methodologies. Now, the conventional warfare is your everyday warfare, in which you have militaries that fight each other, you have naval forces that fight each other via bombardment, etc., by using missiles, guns, tanks, etc., by having foot soldiers who invade into territories and conquer them. That is called as conventional warfare, the basic meaning of warfare. Next is biological warfare. This type of warfare has been banned by the international community, as various countries, all the countries have signed a pact not to indulge in biological warfare. What happens in biological warfare is an enemy country introduces harmful biological components to its target. They might invade the country via using invasive alien species that are not a part of our country but are brought from outside and cause various harmful effects to the environment. Essentially, one country destroying the environment of the other country using biological warfare. They may also supply adulterated food, etc. There are various means and types. Next is chemical warfare, a very dangerous form of warfare. In the Vietnam War, when America fought Vietnam, they since Americans were not so accustomed to the terrain of Vietnam, and guerrilla tactics are not a strong suit of Americans. Therefore, America was suffering heavy casualties because there was a thick, dense forest, and it was becoming impossible for the American troops to advance into Vietnam. Therefore, what America did was it dropped napalm bombs. Napalm bombs are easily they are extinguishable. That means they catch on fire easily. Now, this napalm is a dangerous chemical that should not be used in warfare. We can see various sulfur dioxide, various harmful gases also being released. All those categories come under chemical warfare. Now, next, the cultural warfare. See, this is a silent killer. In the sense, you do not see any physical harm in this type of warfare. The only harm that occurs in this warfare is the deterioration of the culture of an individual country. A country, its population loses its core values. It forgets its own culture when it is subjected to cultural warfare. See, again, UK and USA are the best examples for cultural warfare. Today, we wear Western clothes, we eat Western food such as burgers, fries, etc. We speak in a foreign language, which I am doing right now in English. So, in all the sense, the culture of the West has invaded and made its way to the Indian culture. Now, the main reason why Britishers ruled our country for such a long extent of time, it is because they thought the Indians that the Western culture is supreme compared to the Indian culture. Indian culture is primitive, whereas the American culture or the Western culture is far more technologically advanced, or as we call modern. Now, how do they do this? By simply teaching you their language and subjecting you to movies, etc. Now, all the movies you see in Hollywood, they show America as a bright, powerful, just nation. Now, all that comes under cultural warfare. They try to intimidate other cultures by showing that their culture is more powerful, which is actually not the truth. Each and every culture in this world has its own importance, has its own significance, and also has a great deal of power within itself. It is just our mindset that has grown accustomed to this cultural warfare. The best example I can tell you, few months ago in Bangalore, a person from a rural background who was wearing his normal white clothes and a dhoti was stopped by the mall authorities from entering into the mall. Now, what was their assumption? They thought that this person is not capable of buying anything. This person should not be allowed. They thought the value of the mall, the image of the mall would be tarnished if they let this person enter. Now, that is the simple example. Had that person worn blazers, ties, etc., these people would have saluted him instead. Now, that is the major problem which we face when a person is actually trying to show his culture. People diminish it. There are other various examples as such. Now next is psychological warfare. Pakistan is a great proponent of psychological warfare. Before that, there is a place called Xinjiang in China. China also uses the cultural warfare in Xinjiang. What they did in Xinjiang was firstly put on heavy surveillance. Second, they brought Chinese nationals from Beijing, Xi'an, etc., and made them to settle in the Xinjiang province, changing the demography of the Xinjiang, making China as an integral part of, making Xinjiang a integral part of China. This is also the same. This also happened with Tibet. Now next, as I was telling you, psychological warfare. Psychological warfare is the greatest weapon that Pakistan uses against India. As we know, Pakistan is nowhere capable enough to defeat India in conventional warfare or the just warfare. It is a proponent of psychological warfare. Psychological warfare, what these countries do is they strike India by causing such terrorist activities by hindering the security of a nation. Now also what they do is they promote false propaganda within the social media. The social media, the greatest weapon for psychological warfare. In this warfare, we socially engineer a population according to the merits of a country. Now these are the types of warfare. Next we have arenas of warfare. Arenas of warfare, as you know, it is a venue. Where do we conduct war? First is land. The most obvious one, land. We have battle tanks, we have military regiments, various other missiles like Pinaka system, etc., where the warfare goes on tracks of land. Next is water. Water and also underwater. We have various battleships, frigates, destroyers, etc., who engage in warfare on the surface of the water. We also have submarines that are responsible for conducting warfare under the water. Now, the most dangerous of them all, air. See, air is a most dangerous arena. Now, land and water, you will always have a idea of where the attack is coming from, how far is the distance, and you have enough ability to shield yourself. Whereas in air, when the attack comes from the air, it is highly difficult to pinpoint its location. See, velociraptors were dinosaurs they were actually flying dinosaurs, birds. They were the apex predators. Not even T-Rex was the apex predator of dinosaurs. It was these velociraptors. These huge birds, they used to attack animals from the sky, pick them up and take them away. So attack via air is the most dangerous form of attack, which makes it difficult for defense systems to counter it. Now, next, to deter aerial attacks, we have radars and surveillance systems which are located in strategical locations across the coast of the country, the border of the country, and also various ships and submarines also have these radars. The job of these radars is to surveil the area around themselves. Any projectile entering, see, each and every radar has its own definite range. Any missile coming into that definite range will be identified by this radar. So that is one type of defense we have for when it comes to aerial warfare. Now the next is air defense system. Air defense system is a crucial defense system which protects the regional security, which provides regional security. Say we have a town here of many citizens living. This is a, say example, a city. See, after the Operation Sindoor, Pakistan's response was bombarding India's border regions. They sent out flying missiles targeting various cities along the Indo-Pakistan border. But as we see, the damage has been minimal. Comparatively, there has been no damage at all in Indian soil, whereas thousands of missiles were fired. Where did these missiles disappear? What happened? It is thanks to the strong air defense system of India. Your S-400s, etc. These are all various strategic inputs that are required for air defense system. See, for example, this is a city. We have a projectile, a missile coming, which is due to blast this city. Now, what this S-400 system will do is, firstly, it will be having a radar. Using the radar, it will identify the location of this missile, and it will also be having a firing capacity. When this projectile enters into the airspace, this S-400 mechanism will fire another missile to neutralize the incoming missile. So, S-400 has a capacity of firing 90 missiles at one go. So, various locations in our country are being guarded by air defense system that will neutralize the incoming aerial threat. Now, these are all the important aspects of warfare. Now, let us see. Now, let us have a comparison between India and Pakistan's military. See, comparing India-Pakistan military. As we know, see, this is a wrong statement. It is not manpower. It is just power, because this is the fallacy of the English language, where they tend to put the male species beforehand. As we know, the Operation Sindoor, the figureheads of Operation Sindoor were two strong women who were leading this attack. So, this the word manpower is redundant as such. So, it means both men and women are in the army, ranks of the army today. So, this is Pakistan. This is the total available force, as we can say. That means it comprises of all active personnel and also the territorial army, and also it has the numbers of all able and fit bodies, people who can go to war if there is a necessity. If a necessity arises, all the able-bodied citizens who can participate in the war. Now, this is the comparison. Active personnel, we have 14,55,000, whereas Pakistan only has 6,54,000. These active personnel are the current standing army and the territorial army combined. Whereas this is the figure that represents all abled people who can participate in war. Now, next, simple army, navy, air force. These are the three, as I told you, three arenas of warfare. In every arena, India is having a clear advantage over the Pakistani in numbers. Now, next, we will see various appendages that are used in warfare. See, Navy. Indian Navy comprises of 18 submarines, where Pakistani Navy has only 8 submarines. Some of these submarines are also nuclear powered. That means they can run underwater for an infinite time period because they are powered by nuclear powers. Next, aircraft carriers. India has 2 aircraft carriers, whereas Pakistan do not have an aircraft carrier. See, aircraft carrier are the most essential part of a navy. What do these aircraft carriers do is they provide a platform. See, on ocean you cannot park your jets on the ocean. What you cannot float your jets on the ocean. So these carriers, they provide a base for your jets to take off. You have now this aircraft carrier will sail close towards the coast of the Pakistani territory, and from there the Indian Air Force can fly its jets, go in to Pakistani territory, commence the operation and come back and withdraw. It can come back, refuel and again go hit its targets. So that is the most strategical advantage of having aircraft carriers. Now destroyers. Indian Navy has 13 destroyers, whereas Pakistan do not have any destroyers. See, there is a huge gap between the naval capabilities of Pakistan and India, because the majority of the border that we share with Pakistan is on ground. We do not have much scope for naval warfare, whereas India is exposed a lot compared to Pakistan is not exposed too much to naval warfare. See, destroyers, they are huge ships which have bombarding capacities. That means they carry missiles, guns, etc., which can fire and destroy enemy ships. These destroyers do not participate in land warfare, whereas aircraft carrier, you can send planes to attack the land and come back, whereas destroyers are specifically meant to destroy the naval targets of our opponents. Now frigates. India has 14 frigates, whereas Pakistan has only 9 frigates. Frigates are smaller ships compared to destroyers. They are, if they consider this as a destroyer, this destroyer will be escorted by various frigates. These frigates will act as a defense to the destroyers or the aircraft carriers. They are small in comparison, but also pack a powerful punch. They also have missile launching capabilities. So that is a clear distinction where we see the Pakistani Navy doesn't come close to the Indian Navy. Now next, the ground force. Since Pakistan has majority vulnerability through the ground force, it has 662 self-propelled artilleries. Now these self-propelled artillery is anything that shoots a projectile. Your gun, bow and arrow, all these equipments that are capable of firing rounds, they come under the category of artillery. Here instead of bullets, you will be using missiles. So artillery, self-propelled artillery is a gun that can move on its own. That Pakistan has a slight advantage over India. But this disadvantage is matched up by the enormous number of towed artillery and battle tanks. Towed artillery is same, a huge gun that is being carried by buses, etc. This artillery has to be towed. Now in that, India has a clear advantage, and also battle tanks. See, battle tanks are the heroes of the 1971 war. And also when India occupied Lahore, it was thanks to these battle tanks that ran the ground from the Rajasthan, Punjab region, etc. Also, during World War II, the German offense was mainly centered over battle tanks. These tanks they are capable of going long distances into the opponent's army. They are well defended. That means it is not easy to take away, destroy a tank. It has security, and it also has a missile launching capability. Now next is the Air Force. Fighter jets. India has a clear advantage. It has 513 fighter aircraft, whereas Pakistan only has 328 fighter aircrafts. See, but few of the aircrafts given to Pakistan are from Lockheed and Martin. That is, Americans have supplied a lot of fighter jets who are capable of a good dogfight. Dogfight is a term where two fighter aircrafts fight with each other in the air, is called dogfight. Now next, nuclear arsenal. There is no need to mention about it, but see, India, though Pakistan has a lot of nuclear weapons compared to India, most of Pakistan's nuclear warheads are strategic in nature. That means they only cause deterrence. You cannot fire them randomly and you cannot hit specific targets, whereas India has a majority of tactical nuclear warheads. India has tactical warheads in the sense it can fire, it can create maneuvers and it can strike Pakistani targets with precision. That means India sitting in from Delhi itself, they can destroy all the major cities in Pakistan using tactical nuclear warheads, whereas Pakistan has a lot of strategic warfares which cannot be guided and which cannot be controlled easily. So this is the difference between the military capabilities of the India and Pakistan. Now, as we have seen so far, India has a clear edge when it comes to the fighting force, also the military equipments, tanks, aircrafts, etc. Everywhere the Indian numbers dominate Pakistan. And the next most important thing is the economy. Wars cannot be fought without economical assistance, because fighting a war consumes a lot of fuel, and once used missile cannot be reused. You have to buy more ammunition. So we all know the size of Indian economy compared to Pakistan's economy, where India has a strong economy to back its strategical attacks. Pakistan does not have sufficient money to fund its warfare. So these are the major differences between the India and Pakistani army. And one more thing, it is not always about numbers, it is not always about the machinery, it is about the people. It is about the bravery of the people who are engaged in warfare, and as we all know, India is a clear winner in this sense. We have a strong military, determined and disciplined military that can fight wars. The greatest support to this would be all three wars that Pakistan has fought with us has ended in a huge Indian victory. So morale is always high, and Indian military is highly disciplined and more brave compared to the Pakistani military. So thank you.